Are you knowing what you're wanting? And the reason that we do is because we like to take the vibrational temperature of the room. We like to feel your desires activated because it helps us in the evolution of the conversation that we have. But we also want you to focus in on what you're wanting because it is satisfying to focus on what you're wanting. If your desire feels good to you, it's a really strong indicator that you are right where you most beneficially want to be in the unfolding of your experience. But if your desire is beating up on you because you've wanted it for so long, and this is really what we want to say to you, fresh new desires always feel good because you haven't thrown a bunch of obstacles on your trail and you haven't tripped over them until now you rue the day you ever wanted that. Yep. So we don't want you to have buyer's remorse. We don't want you to have desires remorse. We want your desire to feel fresh to you. And if it doesn't, you've been throwing resistance on the trail. Oh, a better way of saying it, if it doesn't, you're throwing resistance on the trail right now because your vibration is current, you see. So it's better to take a nap. It's better to do anything and everything that you can to slow that negative momentum down just a little bit. What is tripping you up? So many of you, you keep thinking that your work is to tend to the vortex, put the stuff in the vortex, remind everybody to keep track of what's in there, prioritize it, make sure that the good stuff stays at the forefront, and the bad stuff goes to the back, and make sure that the right people are in there with you. And we say, that's step 2, that's not your job. The vortex tending is not your job. You can trust that the vortex tending, you put it there, source believed you when you put it there, understands who you are, follows and tracks the evolution cycle of your expanding experience moment by moment by moment by moment by moment. Your vortex is up to speed with your desire. Are you?
Oliver, right?
That's the question. Your vortex is up to speed with your desire. The only question is, are you? And the answer is, when you're thinking so hard, when you're thinking so much, usually not, because you bring conditions. You see, when you ask the question, why do I want something? Usually, the answer that comes from you is an aligned answer, usually. But when you ask, when's it coming? Since you don't know the answer because you haven't realized it. Where's it coming from? You don't know the answer because you haven't realized it yet. Who's going to bring it? When's it going to get here? When you ask questions that your conscious mind doesn't have the answers to, you torture yourself unnecessarily. But when you say, all things in perfect time, I'm doing the work, life has set me up so well, I came into an environment where the law of attraction is so perfectly balanced, I have source within me, I've been living this wonderful life where I've put all of these things that are distinctively important to me into my vortex. My inner being and so many others are tending to that. The process is laid out perfectly for me. Nothing's gone wrong. There's no rush about anything. The realization of it is fun along the way. I wouldn't want, you wouldn't want, you wouldn't want. We're shaking our finger at you. We want you to hear this. We're shaking all of our fingers. You would not want the entire contents of your vortex to dump into your experience all at once, because you couldn't experience the deliciousness of all of it enough.